Let's head up the west coast into the Pacific Northwest now. It's not heat alerts, but rather flood watches that are in effect through at least tomorrow for several counties in Washington state. Talk about some moisture. Seattle is going to get it. Winter saying goodbye on a gray note in the Emerald City. Let's bring in Weather Command Weekend host meteorologist Michael Estime with us all morning. Michael, good to have you. It's like, what do you want to pick? The heat and the extreme heat, or the fact that we have a flood risk that's going to be growing in the Pacific Northwest?
Stephen, this is incredible, by the way, and it's not something that is uncommon in the Pacific Northwest, right? We've heard of pineapple expresses before. We've heard of atmospheric rivers, and this is going to be a big one. As you know, it originates in Hawaii, and it really can stretch thousands of miles and produce, get this, upwards of 10 trillion gallons of water. That is roughly the equivalent on the high end to 15 mighty Mississippi rivers that we can see at times. Again, stretching thousands, plural, miles, right? 2,670 to be exact. And over the Pacific Northwest, here's Washington State and parts of Oregon. It is just raining, it is pouring, and you can see it right here. Although it spans thousands of miles, the width on this thing is only a few hundred miles, just meaning that this thing is super duper concentrated, unfortunately. So interestingly enough, around the Pacific Northwest, they've had some big time issues. In fact, check this out. The city of Carnation, that's in Washington, is once again on flood alert toward the Snohomish River. Back in December, flooding cut the town off, turning the town into an island for 4 days. Now, when this happens, locals refer to it as Carnation Island. Employees at a local pizza shop hope they don't get boxed in by the time all that flooding begins to rise. They say at least they'll be marooned with some really good pizza. Listen to this.
I remember getting a call from a coworker that's like, they're gonna close the roads, you better just leave the store. And so I had to leave, and I literally drove through water and just made it home in time.
Everyone freaks out.
And we might get busier because we might get islanded in again. We've been able to stay open through all these natural issues and disasters. And so if anybody gets hungry, we're here. We got pizza.
Hey, listen, that pizza does look good, but unfortunately, you'll feel like a little piece of pepperoni on that pizza surrounded by all that water, right? And moving things forward, you'll note that throughout not just the day today, but as we head into the day tomorrow on your Friday, from Seattle up and down I-5 down toward Tacoma, it is going to be a wet and wild go of things, not to mention the fact that snow is going to be an issue in the higher elevated regions as well. Snoqualmie passed at around 3,000 feet or so, going to pick up some snow. But here's the thing, rain 3 to 5 inches certainly going to be seen. One of the reasons why we have those flood alerts and flood warnings that are in effect. So take your time driving. And real quick, just looking at some of these rivers, the Snoqualmie River and Snohomish River, again, at a more elevated stage. So you want to just make sure that you are really taking it slow, safe, and easy, Stephen, for folks that are driving in the Pacific Northwest, because all that rain can certainly lead to flooding real quick. So certainly starting to feel a whole lot more like spring up toward Washington and Oregon.